When you hear the word Avatar, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For some fans, it's the 2009 sci-fi action movie directed by James Cameron, which recently got its sequel released. For other fans, such as myself, the first thing that comes to mind is Avatar: The Last Airbender, an Emmy Award-winning American animated television series that aired for 3 seasons on Nickelodeon and the Nicktoons network. It is set in an Asian-influenced world of martial arts and elemental manipulation. The show drew on elements from East Asian, South Asian, and Western culture, making it a mixture of what were previously traditionally separate categories of Japanese anime and Western domestic cartoons. This series follows the adventures of the main protagonist, Aang, and his friends, who must save the world by defeating Fire Lord Ozai and ending the destructive war with the Fire Nation. Despite it being an animated TV show, Avatar is one of the most popular TV shows Netflix currently has to offer, and due to its past success and its immense fan base, you have to be really careful when you are dealing with a replication of the series itself, for example, a live-action movie or series. Back in 2010, we got a live-action film adaptation entitled The Last Airbender. This movie was based on the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Sadly, this film is the primary example of how something so amazing can go horribly wrong in so many ways, getting a 5% Rotten Tomatoes score and a 4 out of 10 in IMDb. With this being said, when rumors started spreading about a new live-action adaptation for this series, many fans were concerned about it, obviously due to the biggest flop in adaptations that was previously mentioned. Even more concerns started surfacing once we found out that Netflix were the ones making this new live-action adaptation of such a beloved animated series, which also has an amazing sequel, The Legend of Korra. Keep in mind that this announcement was made back in 2018, and one of Netflix's most recent live-action adaptations was Death Note, which was released in 2017, and it wasn't up to par with our standards and expectations, if we're being honest. This adaptation got a 4.6 out of 10 in IMDb and a 36% Rotten Tomatoes score, which is better than M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. But still, is it worth the risk and give Netflix the benefit of the doubt and give them a chance to redeem what M. Night Shyamalan destroyed back in 2010? Or will it just end up being another disappointment? Before we answer this question, there's a couple of things that we need to discuss in relation to this upcoming adaptation. The first thing is that this adaptation will remain as faithful as it can to the original animated series, although it will have some small changes. For example, we will get to see the main antagonists from the beginning. If you're a fan of the original series, you know that Prince Zuko was presented as the antagonist, as he was the one set out to capture the Avatar after being banished from the Fire Nation, but was later revealed that the real big bad was his father, Fire Lord Ozai, and Zuko's sister, Princess Azula. Apparently, this will change a bit in Netflix's live-action adaptation, since Fire Lord Ozai and Princess Azula will be presented as the main antagonists in this first season. Despite these changes, it would still remain faithful to the original animated series, and this information was backed up with the fact that the original creators of the animated series, Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino, were fully involved for over 2 years with this project. Eventually, they did announce they stepped down from the project. DiMartino mentioned he, and I quote, couldn't control the creative direction of the series, and while he acknowledged Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar has the potential to be good, it ultimately wouldn't be the show he or Konietzko set out to make, end quote. While all parties appeared to part ways on good terms, Konietzko and DiMartino are now working on multiple other animated Avatar projects, which has fans really excited. But what does this mean for the Netflix TV show? What was Netflix's reaction to their departure from the project? Albert Kim, executive producer and showrunner of Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, admitted that it definitely felt daunting to continue the Netflix adaptation as showrunner, without the original creators. He also said, and I quote, "My first reaction was, holy shit. Do I really want to do this? Is there a way to improve upon the original?" Whenever you tackle something that's already beloved by millions of fans, you have to ask yourself those questions. End quote. We know that Netflix obviously wasn't just going to cancel a huge project like this one just because the original creators left. It's more than obvious that by then Netflix had invested too much in this live-action adaptation to just let it go to waste. Does this mean that the TV show isn't going to be a huge success? We can't say that quite yet, and to further explain why, we need to look at a most recent live-action adaptation from Netflix that was a huge success. By now, you must know what adaptation we're talking about: One Piece, a fantasy-adventure television series developed by Matt Owens and Stephen Maeda for Netflix. The series is a live-action adaptation of the manga series of the same name by Eiichiro Oda, who served as a major creative consultant on the show. It is produced by Kaji Productions and Shueisha, who also publishes the manga. This adaptation was so successful that it even has fans watching the anime series, which has been running since 1999, and by now has over 1,000 episodes. Not only that, but it also managed to get an 8.4 out of 10 in IMDb and an 85% Rotten Tomatoes score. With all this said, are we going to have an amazing live-action adaptation for Avatar: The Last Airbender, and with it, get the redemption that the animated series deserves? Or is this just going to be another flop like M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender? We will have to wait until February 22nd of this year in order to get this question answered, unfortunately. But due to One Piece's great success, we can only hope that this live-action adaptation is just as successful, and that Netflix can actually redeem this amazing animated series that fans love and get other viewers hooked on this universe as well. Tell me, what's your opinion on this? Did we miss anything? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.